field. You'll see a big difference here between this year and last year's actual. The reason for that is majority of last fiscal year we were without the animal control supervisor. We tried to recruit that position, and were unsuccessful. So we're currently kind of looking at job description, salary, wages, things like that. It's more than likely we're going to have to try to do something to increase that position to us, where we can find somebody that will apply, someone we can hire. So that's the big difference there. This budget includes the old salaries. There's basically two FTEs here. Animal control supervisor, and the other one is an animal control specialist, I think is what it's called. So this budget's mainly their salary. It does include services, transportation, so it's basically the vehicle and their salary is what this budget entails. And part of this is a request for $20,000 for extra help. That was put in if we needed to hire somebody to help us get through until we could hire the new animal control supervisor. Anything else? Pardon me?
Equipment?
Equipment, what that is last fiscal year, was it? We got a replacement truck, but we need to replace the box on it, and so that $25,000 is for the box for our new truck.
This budget is 100% reimbursed by public health realignment dollars.
I was just getting ready to ask and think, man, I hope he's mitigating a lot of rabies for.
The only mandate that counties have under state law is to deal with rabies issues as a public health issue. I would suspect that somewhere in the past, your board got real creative in getting to pay for this out of public health realignment. Where you could probably do a lot less than $160,000 to meet your rabies mandate, which is basically keeping track of the cases that occur in the county.
Yeah,
So I mean, if you wanted to make a budget decision, again, it would be a difficult one for the service people to go out of this. Those public health dollars probably become available for some other purpose.
because I know, some of the other things like the ag guy or, the air quality, we share it, and other things rather, and this seems like quite a big number. But there again, I looked, to the rest income thing. I didn't see anything on there, so I assumed it was out of pocket, but then there's another income stream that's paying for it. So I don't want to be repetitive, but I would think it would be really helpful if, at the end of these things, it could.
You had a line item that said net county cost, or something like that.
Yeah, you have to go
A little
look all over the
footnote.
place. Yep. Not crazy or?
Yeah, right. Yes to both. Crazy, but a good idea. You use one a line
Yeah,
right here.
because,
That or just a footnote.
Well, you're sitting there and that's testimony to the
Yeah.
answer to your question.
not as crazy as the rest of you.
Exactly.
Hard to determine. Any other questions?
Is that, sorry.
Go
but
ahead.
Is that maybe something that could be entertained going forward to make it a little more user-friendly, if you will? Like this, to add kind of that type of stuff, maybe
I don't think we
next
could
year.
use this format for it, but I could just make another binder with all the budgets that are submitted by the departments. It's just about 500 pages, and we could just have 2 binders. It's whatever format you want. This particular document's so large, we don't even put the page breaks in until we're right about to print it. So to try to do footnotes, I just think that, I don't know if I could do it on this document. There's certainly something we could provide you, but it might be what we did in the past. And the last time that happened was when Bill Bixby was here, and he did print out all those, and it was about 500-600 pages. It's probably a stack of
When Irene Doyle and Bill were here, we had a stack
Mhm.
like that. We come in and started the budget.
So.
A loose
yeah.
paper.
I don't think more paper is gonna make
Yeah,
it
maybe
more
we
user
might.
friendly, yeah, I was just.
That's why this is a better way to go.
The,
Find
oh, yeah.
information.
Couldn't you, like down here, Toledo, couldn't you put like right here, even if nothing else, you could put page number 10 or whatever it is back on the income side, so you can just flip to it real easy and find it?
But this particular one doesn't show there, that's what I'm saying, I looked there, it has no income.
Right,
But
this is one of
Karen
those
has-
exceptions
yeah.
because it's an operating transfer in from fund, or from the Public Health Realignment Fund to general fund, and it goes into a 9,000 budget unit, which
With
is
other
not.
things, there's
so
other
it
things
gets-
in there too.
It gets pooled, so it is confusing. And a little cheat sheet would be very helpful.
I mean, just maybe, I'm sure, but I don't know, maybe it isn't possible, but just give it some thought. how to do it.
You just had a cover sheet that had salaries and benefits, dollars, operating expenses, dollars, revenues, dollars, and then net county costs. So if this equaled this, that would be a zero, right? If you-
We have a summary sheet like that for each budget, you know, I mean, we could do it, but what happens is they submit it in, it's kind of what you were talking about this morning, they submit it in March, and then it changes by the time we get here. So, I mean, sometimes it might not match up, but certainly we have that already, we could come up with another stack, like I said, and just make copies.
Well, like on this particular one, there's actually no cost to the county, but when you look at it, you're like thinking, man, that's a big outlay to the general fund. You know, you look over here, there's nothing, it doesn't have any, there's no revenue listed on the revenue thing. So you assume it's a big cost, how can we do this cheaper, how can we, man, okay, well, that's for a truck, that's for this, sure. Man, that's, how could we better spend this money? And then Karen knows, she says, oh, by the way, you know, it's paid for by some other way. I mean, it'd just be nice if we, anyway, without having 500 more pages. I'm sure we'll figure out a way.
We'll figure out a way to do it.
Well, Chris Beard used to generate a template where,
We have it, it's just 5 or 6 pages per budget unit, but I don't know that you budget the cost as a revenue. I think that's something I work with Public Health Realignment on.
Yeah, basically on the sheets that we supply you under the revenue, there's just a note at the bottom saying it's funding through health department grant.
Right. So, I mean, we have the information, it's just
Right.
a lot of paper.
well,
More.
she didn't create an extra paper, she just had at the bottom of the page what, even though you had your revenue section in the front, she would take whatever the revenue that was pertinent from the revenue section and identify it at the bottom of the expenditure page, so you just look down and saw where the money came
Just a simple
from.
footnote.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a footnote as to where the funding would tie to that particular, whatever the page is, you would have the revenue information at the bottom, or at least tell you, go to this page and these are the items that relate to it.
You know, the budget committee has a big job, like, in the few times it meets, and the full board has a big job. And just the more information you could have immediately available without having to cross-reference and look, if there's a way, I just think it would help the budget committee and the board.
There's no money for rabies except for the backdoor public health realignment allocation, so. It's a rabbit.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt your flow there, you're on a roll.
No problem, no problem at all. Any other questions on this one? All right. I guess the next one, as far as your book, is probably road, 122.
Didn't we already approve that back in June or?
We
July?
approved a partial one.
We did the capital improvement. page.
Exactly, we did the capital improvement part of it. The 122, 1221, that's our road operating budget. That's the one that our salaries, benefits are under, our maintenance projects, equipment, that sort of thing. This request this year is about 23% decrease from last budget request. As you probably see on the sheet, we've been utilizing a lot of our fund balance the last couple of years. The majority of that fund balance was some Prop 1B funds that were set aside for specific projects. We finished all those last fiscal year. So we currently need to cut back and basically budget for what our revenues are starting to come in at. So this will be our first big year that we're doing that. In this budget here, there's 6 unfunded positions. They were all vacant positions. The last 2 years, I haven't filled these positions with the concept or idea that I'd probably have to unfund them at some point. They are 2 road equipment operators, or 3, assistant engineer and an engineering tech, and a service center attendant. And I also have 2 vacant positions which are funded in this budget, but I have not filled yet. And those are both road operating positions. So in reality, I'm basically down 1 operator in each of the 5 districts. We've been that way for a couple years. We've been picking up extra help for snow removal, so it really hasn't been too big of an impact to us. But I think we'll still be fine operating again this year. Part of this budget, I've also cut back. The last couple of years, we've really ramped up our chip sealing project. We've been trying to do around 25 to 30 miles a year. This budget year, I've cut that down by at least a half. We'll be doing like, actually this one's the Janesville Main Street project, so chip sealing. This year, we're replacing some of our pickups or vehicles. No large equipment. As far as the carb requirements, we're actually sitting in pretty good shape. We thought we may have to do 1 filter this year that's on our bucket truck, and we're going to try to get an exemption for low use on that. So I'm hoping that we can make that happen and we won't have to do that filter. Other than that, we've been doing real well with the filters, and we've exempted several of our trucks for snow removal. Some of our low usage we've exempted for low usage, and we've also got rid of some of the other ones.
Is this as far as for the carb requirements?
Yes. Yeah, I think I mentioned we're replacing 3 pickups this year. In fact, the board already just approved those 3. That was part of our earlier budget approval. Part of the revenue, you'll see a large line item there for fixed assets. We're looking at getting rid of our crushing outfit. Like a lot of you know, we have a very ancient crusher with conveyors and everything else. We're looking at getting rid of that this year, and still researching it, but it looks like that should bring in $75,000 or more.
That's the crusher,
That's the crusher.
and we don't have a need for it?
Well, it's just, basically, the crusher we had was, if you remember, that was probably 4 years ago now, it got pretty much damaged and scuffed. So we replaced much as we could with insurance funds, got it to where it's usable now, but it's just so, it's not feasible to run anymore for us.
Is it still down there in South Carolina?
It's actually set up in our shop right
Is
now.
it?
We've been working on it for the last 3 years trying to get it operating, and it's just not feasible anymore. You can either rent one, a portable crusher, or probably contract it out, and a lot more feasible. Part of the units are like, one of them's like 1948 units, and then on the conveyors, it's very ancient.
Did we have to retrofit that, the car? But
No, and that's one of the other reasons I'm looking at getting rid of it. There's 2 engines on there that we have to retrofit
Yeah.
if we were able to keep it at probably 80,000 apiece.
I would agree. As you said, you can probably buy it.
And I'll be bringing that back to the board with a full report on what we're looking at getting rid of.
Sounds like the whole road area, you're making some pretty big changes over the next year or two.
We have. We actually started probably 2 years ago,
Mhm.
downsizing a lot of our equipment as, especially carb and some of the others. We really don't need 6 cats. One's bad, we get rid of it. We're not repowering it. So yeah, we're making some big steps. Right now, probably the reason we're replacing all the pickups this year, that's probably our one place that we need to improve now. We have, a lot of our trucks are 200, 300,000 mile old. And we're just, we need to spend some time on them.
I had a quick question.
Sure, sure, absolutely.
So on this, Fund 122 budget unit 1221 that we're on, where it gives a figure basically $5.5 million, $5,444,000.
That's actually the entire 122 budget. That also includes the 1222, which is the construction part of the one.
Yeah, but then it shows like the revenues, so much higher. What is that? I'm just trying to.
Under the next budget.
Projected revenues, yeah, but if you just look at those budget units, 12, what it has for 1221, the amounts for, income, it's like $9,151,000.
There again, that's adding both of the units. I guess they don't have this, Julie, this sheet.
They don't have it, I can pull it up on
But basically, the
the
122.
projector.
The 1221 budget, there's, the revenues for just this unit is $4,185,000. There's a fund balance of $2.5 million, for total revenues of $6.685, and a budget of $5.448.
Within the book here, I'm just adding everything that says 1221 and it's
Right.
the 9 million.
That includes the construction part of the budget, which is next budget.
Now, you're projecting a decrease in the force reserve revenue, is that been forecast? What's the basis of that determination? Because 10-11, we got 1,242,000, and then it dropped to 986,000 and change, and then to 883 and change, and now it's down to 750, so that's about 130,000.
Right, the last.
Jerry Bird's telling us at the podium how they're they're hauling more timber now than they have in quite a while.
Right, we're hoping that's gonna change. What I've been told is to figure about 80% what we got last year, so that's what I budgeted for. We're all hopeful that we can get more revenue out of that, and they should be coming up with a new deal to hopefully add another 3 to 5 years or something.
We're supposed to make that decision by September 30th, but we haven't seen anything. I haven't seen
I
anything.
haven't seen anything.
And that's the Rural Communities and Schools Act.
Right.
Times
Right.
1, 2,
The
and 3.
Title I.
Right. So, yeah, this is a real conservative estimate on revenues. The other big portion of our revenues is our gas tax. And that it's pretty much the same as last year. I decreased it about 400,000. I'm hopeful it's going to remain about what it was last year.
Gas tax or?
It's under the state highways users tax,
Yeah, you.
4,100.
Yeah, you're showing, we've got basically the same, we got 2,769,000 last year, and you're projecting 2,750,000. So that's pretty much
Pretty
a
close,
wash.
yeah.
And the matching funds have been pretty consistent right across the board.
Yeah, the 473. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the state other?
Yeah, we go to revenue, state other kind of stands out.
Yeah, $5 million there.
That's the construction money.
Is that STIP money?
Yeah, that's under the next budget.
The new school.
But that's basically the projects, bridge replacement and the STIP funding.
Chairman, comment, 2 questions. You notice about 4/5 of the way down on the 222 budget, it says at 2801, A87 costs of $250,000. That's why we do A87. There's $250,000 coming in against what otherwise would be general county costs.
And that's being paid for out of the federal and state funds
That's right.
that are being operated by the department, which is what A87 is for.
We're fully supported.
Yeah, fully support, I have no problem. It's when we apply that same formula where we take a general fund allocation that came out of our general fund from one department to another general fund department. That's where the,
There's no savings.
that's where the issue, that's where the dander gets all kicked up. And this is what 87 is supposed to be about.
Larry, why do we spend $215,000 on transportation and travel? Do we pay people mileage and record?
That's our fuel. That's our fuel coming out
Oh,
of that.
and on the next page, you're spending $45,000 on land. That's not right away, because right away is separate from the budget.
That is, the Westwood Road Shop, we basically have a lease with Beatty, and they're trying to purchase that.
That could be a long, drawn-out process.
Yes, it has been. I've been
Yes.
trying for several years. Last year, we finally got up to current, now we just have to keep on it. The other part of the road, kind of mentioned it, the other part of the road budget is our construction part of it. And that is the main projects here that are showing up are the Skyline Extension, that's continuing on with PSNE and the right of way. Skyline South, that is the multipath project, basically old rail alignment from Alexander on out to State Highway.
Does that include the bike path?
That would be the, yeah, it's gonna be a multipath like that.
Where's that?
Under the Skyline South,
Yeah.
50,000, that was to continue on with that. The next one says overlays, that's basically our Cave Seal project out in West Pack Village, up the street, haven't heard on.
So the 50,000 is to get the acquisition of the right of way?
It's to, no, that's to finish the environmental process, and then we're gonna be, in fact, we're trying to get the right-of-way money right now, December, CDC, last year's allocation.
We just had one parcel left to get it right away out of the way.
Yes, that's the one above it, that's extension. The one I'm talking about is the old railroad grade, that's the,
Oh, okay.
from Alexander over to the State Highway.
To acquire that.
Yes.
That's what the 50,000 is.
That's